Parabellum, though, except for that loss at the beginning of the season to Two-Face.
Almost forgot about that game. That was definitely the start of the downward spiral for PB over the course of the stage. But I know one thing we focused on was the Ying. Is it going to be in play? PB loved to run it. Wichita Wolves don't shy from it. It's remaining on the board. Thatcher and Maverick both banned. Very common ban, not only in general, but PB liked to ban Thatcher, and Wichita Wolves have certainly not shied away from the Maverick. I can imagine by next we'll see a Cade once these two operators are off the board. Yes, that is exactly the case. But Benny, the fact that Ying is still in play, and not only that, Wichita Wolves also like to run other, I'd sort of say, specialty ops like Blitz to get that aggression out on Oregon. I imagine we should see teams at their best possible form for the attacks based on these bans.
I'm expecting to see Warden on the board for these teams. Really
Absolutely.
At this point. We've seen Warden in the past do wonders to stop that Ying, though it is only one operator, though. There's 3 Candelas and you only have 1 pair of glasses. There's not sometimes much you can do. It's if you bring maybe being in Blitz in a combo, maybe, but we'll see what happens here. And I always do question teams that they don't bring in, because having that entry op, having that Candelas to push you into sight, especially comes up, that basement sight. If you're going for a laundry freezer take and you need to push past a crossfire, smokes, flashes, it's a perfect combo to bring in that instance. If you are going for that, that freezer laundry take, if you're going for that, that pillow take, it still can help out, but it's not needed as much.
Attackers need to locate and defuse.
Potentially, but I will say we did see Callout 6-pick from his original operator from Thermite, and Callout on Wichita Wolves is the one who normally plays that Blitz. In this case, moves to the Zofia instead. So we're not seeing that play just yet. Of course, Parabellum is starting on the defense. And one big thing, Benny, that we neglected to mention is because of the Thatcher map ban, you have to ban the Cade. PB opt to ban the Mira. They get Valkyrie, an operator that they have used to great effect. I know we've talked about before Eska's miracle 2v5 clutch on Valkyrie last stage, which I think was actually a 1v4 from Eska. But PB is one of those teams that if you give them that amount of intel, they are going to thrive with it. On a map like Oregon as well, where, I mean, intel's useful on every map, but Oregon especially, finding out where exactly they're pushing from, whether it's a back take, whether it's a freezer and main stairs take, Valkyrie's going to do them wonders. Combined with the Echo as well, Wichita Wolves are going to need to have their work cut out for them if they want to try to cut through the amount of information that PB will have at their disposal.
Yeah, I'm interested to see if Parabellum play off of that aggression or off that information much. On the side of Wichita Wolves, there's no IQ in play. They're not bringing that out. Not expecting maybe the Valkyrie played for whatever reason. They're bringing in, of course, that Finka. Finka's been brought up more and more ever since she's gotten the grenades, because there's definitely a use for those adrenaline surges on top of having the grenades to be a useful utility. So at this point, PB doesn't seem like anybody's roaming from their side. Nobody's running around per se. Looks like Spirit's maybe the first to deal with someone on those freezer stairs, as it's Freak and Abonai. They're looking around, they're dry peeking, making sure they can figure out anything. Looking for cams too as well, because they're at this point they probably know there's a Valkyrie on the board. It looks like Spirits will see that Gem Replicator drop down. They saw Yokai drop too, so they are actively droning. PB is using that Yokai to great effect to actively drone their players and make sure where they see Wichita Wolves coming from.
This is a very common position for PB to play on those freezer stairs. And not only Spirits getting aggressive, but also Kool-Aid playing close with that shotgun. And Wichita Wolves have done their review of PB on Oregon. They will likely expect that either one of them, but likely Kool-Aid, is playing close on the stairs. So that's likely why none of them are charging down and taking that free control, because they don't even need to drone it. They know in all likelihood Kool-Aid is playing that position. He'll rotate off, and Wichita Wolves as well will rotate to a meeting and backstairs take for right now. Of course, it's not set in stone just yet. We have to wait to see what they commit to. But they've rotated from that main side to that freezer side, and they're finding about the same amount of intel you might expect on the freezer side as well. Some Gershmont mines layered out all around that hatch drop to prevent Wichita Wolves from just sending it down the hatch and trying to clear down pillar. They do try to do that and go for those kills. They will all be stunned the moment they hit the floor, but a nade's sent down to deal with it, so if they go for that play, they can be a little bit safer.
So yeah, if they're going for this play, though, they should have, the X-Kairos to open up the E-box hatch, that E-box wall facing towards Harry Potter, facing toward the bottom of the stairs to deal with this play. You see that's, a grenade was thought up by Freak to try and push them back, but looks like Spirits is pushing the aggression with that SMG. He's about seen out by the Jet Replicator, so back off towards the shield, but I'm interested to see why there isn't an X-Kairos pellets on those walls. Great shots of Spirits. First kill goes to him for the game, and there goes the shield and barrels. Penguin elsewhere is going off. Freak will at least respond in kind, and he'll get 2 for his name. Eska melted the tack on. It's left to just Mohes in a 1v3. He's looking around with that Spirit, trying to find what he knows, but what intel does he have in a 1v3? He sees the Yokai and makes sure he shoots it, but he's getting shot in the back, as he points out, a little too far out of that pillar. But really, in a 1v3, what can you do? Diffuser on the floor in front of him in E-box. He doesn't have really way in without being seen by the player in the hallway. The adrenaline surge, run right in, grab that diffuser, look left, right, and there's a shotgun waiting from Kool-Aid to finish him off. And Parabellum will take the first attacking round, or defending round.
I think we saw pretty much how quickly that collapsed for Wichita Wolves. Spirits constantly getting aggressive on those back stairs. He even ran up to shoot the Gemini replicator at one point, but of course, they likely know that Spirits is playing close in that position because of that fact that he's getting so aggressive. Then Abonai comes on down on that Yana. He's lost his Gemini replicator, takes the angle, dry, loses the fight to Spirits. Unlucky for him, but Wichita Wolves continue to try to commit. The call was already given, and they dropped and ran down directly into PB's take and all the angles that they held. There wasn't much from Wichita to really dislodge them from that position. No openings were able to be found. That's sometimes a problem inherent in Oregon. The lack of vertical play makes players playing inside of, say, basement itself, whether it's big towers or inside the site or laundry. The lack of verticality makes it difficult to achieve that. So if you're not able to make it work from the hatch or get that pick on those big tower stairs and you commit to an execute, you're going to have to win those gunfights. And in this case, PB won every single one they were given.
Yeah, I think the only person to really start getting kills that round was Freak. Freak was trying his best there, but one player getting kills there and responding kind, refragging, getting a kill of his own isn't enough there. We go upstairs to our next defense. We go to dorms for PB, and we see already something different. Those shields. Shields are so important. Those shields are so powerful for the defense. You see them setting up on Master, setting up a rotate between games and that walk-in closet, and a shield inside a trophy. So you can see they are extending far into this east side of top floor Oregon, making sure they can stop them from taking control, or at least delay them and make them waste a lot of time trying to do so.
Yeah, as you can see, I noticed there was no hard breach tonight on Parabellum. Yeah, that part of that bedroom wall is open. They can rotate in. They have a shield holding inside. This is a pretty, not an extension we see all too often. Normally, they might hold trophy, but beyond that, a lot of the times on dorms, most teams play inside the site, but PB is always one for an unorthodox or a new setup. And it's no surprising that in their elimination game, they'll try to bust one out here. Wichita Wolves in response, or either just going in accordance with their take, will start on the side of small tower. They could have spotted the Valkyrie rotating out, but instead, they miss him. Eska rotating down freezer stairs will exist in the basement for the time being, and likely have to be something the Wichita Wolves have to keep an eye out for, because if they don't, that's a C4, and a pretty powerful player in Eska is sitting in the wind.
Yeah, I'm wondering if they'll have cams available. Where are those cams available for PB? Because, just a call out from a teammate, some coordination on their side, they can easily see for one of these players, like you were talking about, Lynx, either coming in early in the round or maybe later on when it's a crucial moment for Wichita Wolves when it comes to that plant. But so far, they're opening up attic. Usually see on this take, it's an attic and games take, or usually it's an attic and master take into games. But with all of that, shields and setup extended, are they going to go for an attic in like a big window take? We see some damage on Melted so far in the ruin. Looks like he may have taken a grenade, but they have spotted out the Valkyrie of Eska playing side of security.
It looks like they are rotating for that big window take, which was a problem because that seems like exactly what PB rotated to do. Not all the utility was necessarily dedicated to that, but they had some reinforcements, some precautions in case that's where Wichita Wolves decided to attack from. Eska, in response to some pressure from Kitchen, rotates downstairs. And with a minute 30-second pass, we've yet to see Wichita Wolves fully gather all their pieces for what they need to do. Do they have security control? Because if they don't, that's going to be something going against their direction if they want to go for this big window take. Not only that, Melted has holes made from below that either him or Kool-Aid could utilize if they try to go for that take. If anybody walks into security and takes that map control. Minute left, Mohes is looking to jump inside of attic, and I imagine the moment he jumps in that window is the moment Wichita Wolves will try to hit the site. He'll continue waiting for the moment, and Spirits is accounting for this exact play. Does Mohes know that Spirits is close on the left? No, it's actually Eska to rotate a big tower, not only get one, throw a C4 out, and unfortunately misses. Maybe a bit too much of a gambit from the Valkyrie that unfortunately does not pay off. The refrag onto Melted. In all fairness, Wichita Wolves aren't too far behind.
You say refrag, but that was an interesting grenade. That bounced off of the breach and still kills Kool-Aid through the floor. It probably was opened up early, so that shrapnel will go through the floor and kill Kool-Aid. But still, that's 3 grenades thrown and taking out 2 players. A pretty good trade there for utility, I guess. But at the same point, what is the play so far? Forest elsewhere from the big window will take out Penguin. It's now 2 members of Eska and Spirits. Eska was big tower. He's returned to attic to help his team out. Pre-fire with Spirits. Great shots to put in a 3v2. Wait, 2 shots from Eska. Spirits to finish it off. And Parabellum will take the second round.
That is just absolutely absurd, and come on, man. Wichita, you gotta be better than that. I mean, on all fairness, they lined up for it. Benny and I were predicting, okay, this is looking like a big window take, but what we have seen sometimes is what people will do instead of going big window, they will rush up white, go through the generator rotate hole, and then go for the bomb plant. That's exactly what Wichita Wolves tried to do. They had somebody a big window to watch, but the majority of their play was on white stairs. One person runs up, Spirits takes him down. In fact, both him and Eska peaked at the exact same time, almost like a crossfade, both crossing each other at the peak. Take him down. Okay, you've evened up the man count. Excellent work. Then at that point, all 3 remaining players from Wichita go with that plan. They stack on top of each other, and Spirits and Eska are like, okay, I guess we'll take that fight. Eska doesn't even have to use more than 10 bullets. Gets 2 for him. Spirits tags on for another. It wasn't a terrible execute from Wichita, but based on their positioning, and they decided to commit. Everyone from PB was in a position where they couldn't be countered. Got all the kills.
Yeah, it kind of ended up being a very easily predictable execute at that point, seeing as, we saw Attic didn't go well. Eska gets that flank onto Mohes, who was playing on the balcony. And at that point, they had no control over Master because of the extension by PB. So what do you expect then? You expect Big Window and White. In Big Window, sure, Forrest gets that kill, but someone was there to stop Forrest from jumping in the window. So where the best plays come from? Top of White. Easy picks from PB. They know how to make those shots happen. Great job from them. And we go to Master and Dining for our next site. And this site can be difficult for the defense, especially if the attackers get that control over Big Tower, which isn't really difficult to do. They just deny someone on the hatch over an attic, open up that wall, and try to plant behind that table inside of meeting and try and also deny Green Hall. Can be pretty easy for them to get that plant down.
It can be easy. One worry I do have a little bit is bringing Hibana as that hard breacher. It's doable, but Thermite is just a lot easier to open that attic wall and then that stage wall as well. And those are really the only 2 things you need to hard breach if you're going for that take. But of course, Wichita Wolves might not be. You can see they're also placing some focus up top, and if they want to clear out this upstairs extension, a Hibana might very well service them more if they want to, say, open up that bedroom wall that Freak was just looking at. There is one player currently playing inside of Attic. Mohes will. Spirits takes the gunfight, and Mohes is aiming exactly where he peaks, takes him down. One tries to refrag from dorms. That's Eska, the Frenchie duo, both trying to retain some of their glory from the previous round, but with one of them fallen, and Eska, in fact, jumping out. Mo might be able to clean this one up if he goes down to chase it. It's Penguin instead, and, I'm gonna let that speak for itself.
Interesting. But anyway, yeah, so that's 2 kills for Wichita Wolves. PB have had the first pick both rounds so far. Wichita Wolves will turn it around, take a first pick on a Spirits, who was, I guess, rotating through Attic to get away because he was playing T3 of Big Tower. And I believe Penguin tried to run out and get a C4 or get some kind of refrag onto Mohes, but unfortunately time wasn't really, or he wasn't really in the place to do that, and he gets picked off, not able to jump back in the window. Minus 6 damage for his own grenade. At least so far, this is great for Wichita Wolves. They have the man advantage. But the question is, with the control upstairs, like going for maybe a kitchen take instead, if they can take control of top floor, go to work with that sledge of Freak, and start to push these players from PB back into corners that, Wichita Wolves know where they're at, would be security, whether it be inside a meeting. They can push them dining. They can go into kitchen, get that plant down, and deny the angles from Parabellum if they know where they're at exactly at that point. So grenade comes down Freak onto security. Didn't get any kills there. Just even cleared out, but here, call out, making that first move into dining.
There's one player currently playing on Freezer, as you saw, and Wichita Wolves are very eager to take him down. That's Eska once again, but it's Melted to get the first pick for PB. Kool-Aid swings, maybe a bit ill-advised. Still with the reinforcement alive. I don't know if that was the best engagement to take, Kool-Aid, because now that you've fallen, your smoke is gone. Abonai finds the Valkyrie as well. That's all left up to Melted, the player who's been underperforming in playoffs so far, to stop Wichita from gaining their first round. The Yokai's not in position, allows the plant to go down successfully, and now Melted's odds just got a lot more low. He will have managed to find another kill, a nice shot onto Freak as he swings, but again, 3 players. He hits the reload. Abonai just around the corner. He's just spamming right now. I believe he... Oh, this is Gemini? I did not even realize that. He also has 2 nades as well. So if you could just throw one around the corner. Melted just trying to play for maybe one more kill. At this point, he is just not winning this round. He'll rotate down, give PB some time to recover. There is call out down there to see if he rotates down. Moving back up at right about... Now is the moment where Melted can no longer win this round officially in terms of the time. That means Wichita will get their first attacking round on the board.
Oh, good job, Wichita Wolves, and it really seemed out the first 20 seconds, well, not 20 seconds, so the first minute of the round where they get that pick on Spirits running through Attic. I think he's rotating off of T3, knowing that Wichita Wolves were maybe going for Big Tower. He gets that first pick. Penguin then jumps out of the Green Hall window, looking to get maybe a C4 or a shotgun shot SMG kill onto Mohes and a refrag. Doesn't get that either. Wasn't able to jump back in the window, gets killed at Mohes. Now you're in a 3v2 or 3v5, and those members from PB now have to try and outperform, try to get more kills to even up the scoreboard, and again they peek out aggressively, and they lose most of those fights and leave it Melted in a 1v5 pretty much, 1v4.
Ah, Benny, here it is. The play we were talking about at the beginning. Call out will 6-pick from something to the blitz. Now, here's the thing. It is a 6-pick, so it could absolutely catch PB off guard, and I am a little bit worried because we see the Mute, the Mozzie, and the Castle on board. So this could indicate a bit of an extended setup, and here is why that is a problem.
Look at Kool-Aid.
What did Kool-Aid do? I wasn't
The
seeing.
full reinforced elbow.
Ah, well, that actually ties in perfectly, because what Wichita Wolves like to do is call out goes on the blitz, rushes bunker, and clears out elbow. But if you full reinforce that wall, you might give them control of it, but they don't have the access to sight like they would normally when Wichita Wolves brings that out and the enemy team does not full reinforce that wall. So they might be giving elbow control, but it does not give call out that avenue into sight he normally gets with his blitz play, and it's you lose a bit, but you gain a lot more in theory, and we'll see if Wichita Wolves still commit to that.
And especially because they only bring the Hibana and not the Thermite, they can only make, small holes with that
Yep,
X
there we go.
Skyros launcher. And the Mute's on the wall too, so they have to, open up the top of the wall with those X Skyros, throw a grenade over it, destroy the Mute Jammer to open that wall up if they do go for that, if that's going to be the plan. But it depends what maybe Wichita Wolves at this point have droned out elbow, see that it's full
Like they're
reinforced,
rotating.
and they could, they're going for a different play because they know that's not going to work anymore. In essence, really. So at this point, now they may have to try and go for a laundry freezer take with a blitz. It still can help, but maybe it's not nearly as helpful because that Ging would be a great tool here for that take. But it looks like also there's a lot of roamers here for PB. Actually, I noticed that there's a lot of people running around.
There are quite a few roamers, but here's the issue, is that Wichita Wolves are playing into it. Exactly. They've decided that, okay, our initial play, rushing elbow, that can't work anymore because it's reinforced. What do we do? And the call is made, okay, well, let's just clear out these roamers because they've realized it's an extended setup at this point. And the time has passed where you could just send it down into the site. The defenders will likely be waiting for another long angle engagement attempted by, I imagine, Penguin with the SMG-11, by the way. That gives you, if you're new to Penguin, that gives you the idea of the kind of engagements he likes to take. He's a bit of a madman in that regard, but he's not felled. He remains there for the time being, and about half the round has passed, and they're just now starting to clear out the top floor.
Wait,
But look at that.
They're
They've all
running it?
rotated back down.
they're all leaving. You can see them all running down those freezer stairs back to site. Spirit's still there. I believe maybe Penguin still may be on top of that T3 tower for the moment, but it looks like, he's returning back to that hatch. That E-box hatch, he's going to drop down with his teammates. And, actually, they might play meeting for a little bit longer to waste more time. Looks like Mohes sees the shot, sees the legs of Penguin, finishes him off, gets the headshot on with that spear. And that's one player off the board, but time is ticking. And that's kind of the big point for this play for Parabellum. And just waste utility, waste time. Great refrag from Eska. Eska returns from the bottom of site, walks up the freezer stairs, flanks Freak. So you lose some, some soft breach, some grenades that may be helpful later on. And this roam is still escaping Wichita Wolves.
But at this point, the utility is not the most important. It is retaining that man advantage because you're about to fight the full force of PB, and with Eska rotating back down, there's still one player up top. Never mind, I was lying. He did not. Not only did he not rotate up top, Spirits is taking the aggressive engagement inside a split, takes down Call Out the Blitz, the cornerstone of Wichita Wolves' attack, continues wreaking havoc up top, leaving Abunai in a 1v3. Still inside a Z with Diffuser as well. He could try to rotate back down and catch him off guard, but just as he rotates down Freezer, Spirits rotates down Laundry, joins his team, and with direct intel in his position, and still a smoke canister in Kool-Aid's pocket, it's going to be difficult for Abunai to push through this. He tries to commit. He's going to lose some health and maybe catches one of them off guard, misses a lot of shots, and in the end, it's Kool-Aid with the shotgun at long range. A question mark in chat as well, wondering how they manage to read Wichita so well throughout that entire round.
I would say, there's TC roamer. There's people upstairs in bedroom, people upstairs in bunks and daycare, or bunks and dorms. They were members of PB all around the map, and Wichita Wolves didn't have quite the web of information, the web of drones to find out every single player. And by the time they'd cleared out some of these rooms, most of the roamers returned back to site. They ran down freezer stairs. Eska, though, ran back upstairs. He ran back upstairs to go for a flank. Penguin, unfortunately, got caught out inside a meeting. He was peeking up that hatch, didn't expect for, Mohes to be there. But it's Spirits, it's Eska still running around, still playing the hide and seek game, and unfortunately, if you can't find them, they're just going to kill you.
And I think this 6-pick from Call Out is a good one because while the Blitz has worked for them in the past, at least based on what we saw in the previous round, they have two types of Blitz takes. One, the elbow rush, and two, for this site in particular, Call Out will go to the attic window, and then once they execute, he hops in, takes pit, and then they move in from the site from there. But based on the last round, it's clear that they were just running those same takes. They haven't really changed them up all that much. If it was just countered by one reinforcement and elbow and a mute jammer, and that caused the entire team to rotate and stop, it's clear that they were trying those same strats, and it's not working anymore. The 6 picks from the Blitz to the Flores, to just take this a bit more standard, do what they did in round number 1, because let's all be honest, if Eska and Spirits are minimized just a little bit more, so you have someone on that Dorms window, they don't get that 2v4. The majority of the round was looking good for Wichita. You don't need to get crazy. Just play it how you did and tweak a few things.
Yeah, I would say there's so much VOD review already of them playing Oregon and doing those strats. I'm assuming, they talked about the pre-show on the desk. PB has an extensive support staff. They've probably VOD reviewed and seen those strats and know exactly what to do when it comes to those moments. As you saw last round, definitely they knew what they were doing to stop a blitz from running down elbow and take control of site. But let's go back to this round, and like you said, hopefully this time Wichita Wolves have a better plan for doing that, because last time, well, that's totally different. Just jump. That is the power of Valkyrie cams. You can just spot someone on a balcony, jump out a window, a white window, because someone's calling it out like a teammate is, and just kill them.
That's especially unfortunate because you saw it was likely someone's job to watch that, but since it was so early in the round, maybe they were on a drone or doing something different, or at least they were in the area to watch it. But out of all the ops on the board, normally I'd say a sledge pick is very impactful, but again, it's second floor, and while the nades are important, there's not a lot of verticality, so honestly, if they had lost to Flores, Ayana, or even the Hibana, it'd have been a lot more worse, but sledge isn't the worst thing on Oregon specifically. They also spot Spirits playing close in that wall, but he rotates back the moment Mo fires some shots and he's droned out. Not getting too aggressive. That's what we want to see from PB right now. They got the opening pick. There was no hope of it getting traded the moment Eska hopped back in. You don't need to get aggressive like that. Penguin will also likely rotate a little bit differently the moment a stray bullet flies through the gen window, hits him in the kneecap. But instead, again, they'll sit for the time being because they know with this man advantage, it's on Wichita to make the play.
Yeah, once again, they're not really trying to head-on take this extension. You don't see it in the concentrate effort from Wichita Wolves to try and push this construction, or not construction, this bedroom and walk-in closet thing. As you see Kool-Aid light reinforced, make sure they can't push that wall, or make sure they can't get a kill on him if they push the walk-in closet. So this point, Wichita Wolves have the ground to open up that gen wall, that games wall, and push in. Attic is the next one too. Attic was forward last time at Eska, but Mohes pushing in here with his team. If they can take control of this and open up Gaines wall, that's the expected play. Usually here comes Oregon and takes a top floor site. And I'm assuming PB has, not only the man advantage, but a plan to stop them. Also a good shot.
Maybe that wasn't part of the plan. Maybe Spirit's getting aggressive. Problem with the plan right now, Forrest only has 6 X Kairos to open up that wall, so they can't really vault through it all that much depending on how they've opened it up or what is available. And I don't think they can fit through that. Might be able to prone, but beyond that, they might have to go for that same white take they did previously, and PB has plenty of counters for that. One playing on big window, one playing to the hard left of that window as well. Forrest will manage to find a kill onto Eska, who is in all likelihood off the site. Not entirely sure. But now you still have a 3v4 on the site, and that's all of PB's concentrated force at the moment. They still have out of control. They're still watching big window and white. They have all these angles, but Forrest is doing his best to dislodge them. Gets the player inside of Attic. Abunai trades out Forrest down, but there's Melted to counter him out. Callout's the only one left on big window. He'll finally vault on in, but Penguin is the one that puts him to 1 HP. Doesn't get the kill, but wins the round on time for his team and successfully stops Wichita Wolves from entering the site until the very final seconds.
Penguin, yeah, that last fight was interesting.
Hey, he didn't die.
That's
the important part.
But in the end, the big thing was the fact that Wichita Wolves, once again, they're opening up Attic, and then they're not, as a team, unified trying to deal with this extension or trying for a different play. They're still being, I guess, not really figuring out what to do here. They're not just figuring out the plan enough, investigating enough, and how to deal with it. And they're in the late round trying then to push it. And at that point, it's late enough round where PB's just like, okay, I'll concede. I'll let you have that territory. Let you have bedroom and walk-in closet. But there's no time left to make an excuse. So by the time they open the wall, and they can only open up part of the wall because they only bring Hibana, no Thermite, no Ace. So at that point, they open up a small hole, which if you were to walk through the hole and somebody's playing Attic, they're just going to fry you because it's a small hole. It's easy to pre-fire. In that point, what Forrest, though, was a big instance of the round. He was able to open up his team, kill the players in Attic, deal with the player in games, allow for his team to push in from Trophy into games in the first place, but you still had players and kids. You still had players playing in the back of bunks that were able to frag out and stop them pushing in farther, and that just leaves Callout playing big window, where he's just kind of sitting there with no real intent or real anything to do.
And we'll see Callout maybe to try to have a bit more active of a role, switching from the Flourish to the to the IQ this go around, but to find those Valkyrie cams that Eska has been throwing in and around the map. That certainly is going to help, I will say. am a little bit worried about the lack of that Flores, especially because of the prevalence of shields that are still in Parabellum's lineup. They have 3 of them currently. And say if you lose... They have 6 nades, but say you lose Freak, Mo, or Abernai later on. They don't have that Aruni, maybe, but it's still a little bit risky having that lack of utility, and also just with how specific the IQ is. Again, if Callout dies as well, it's almost like, you know, what was the point?
Hey, we'll see. Hey, yeah, it's true, though. But these cans are powerful. Like, they got the first pick because of the cam last round.
That's
so
true.
Hopefully it's able to counter that aggression from Parabellum that's been getting in these first picks at times. Well, at times. There's other times where they've just been flanked because of... Unfortunately, they don't have flank cams and information to stop them from being flanked in the first place. So, either way, we're back to meeting and dining for another try, or meeting in kitchen, meeting in kitchen for another try. And last time, it was kind of that upstairs roam that stopped them from really pushing through. They're able to actually, yeah, they won this round, actually, due to some great picks of their own. You know, that first pick on the Spirits, that run out from Penguin that didn't work out well. So if they can get those same picks and get that first pick for them, this could get in the round. But this time, Spirits is ready for it. He's not running through Attic and getting cut off on that rotate. He's there, knows they push on that balcony quite often. Mohas has been on that balcony quite a few rounds in a row.
Well, Abernai is red, in fact, that he's just directly in the site. They know they're not available. He misses some shots onto Kool-Aid, though, and this gives Kool-Aid an opportunity to not even trade him out, just to get the kill. That's exactly what happens. Abernai maybe gets a little bit ahead of his team. Melted even swings out, catches Forrest as he's trying to catch up. Callout's the last alive once again. He vaults in, takes down Eska, coincidentally enough, from the very window that Eska got the first kill last round. But he's the only one left. It's the final attacking round from Wichita. They have a minute 20 seconds, so they have to make the decision. Do they want to take that de facto timeout? Talk over things with their team? He's going up to small tower roof, so I imagine that might be the case. But let's just talk about that round and what exactly happened. I want to start off just highlighting that brilliant play between Penguin and Spirits. They know there's no big tower control. Cool, we'll find him out because Call just vaults a big window and they have a hole below it. But Benny, that engagement between Penguin and Spirits, they know they're not pushing big tower, so Penguin calls to rotate Spirits up, distract Mo by opening up that window from behind, and then Penguin jumps out, so that way Mo can't take down either of them at the same time. He's got to try to take down one. That was just a beautiful.
They knew exactly. They knew that Mo's been on that balcony so many rounds in a row when it comes to that site or similar sites that they just play, and they don't push big tower like you said. So they're just gonna have one playing big tower, one playing attic. They're gonna confuse Mohes from which way he's getting shot from, and then just pinch him and kill him. I mean, on top of that, did Abernai just walk from garage into site?
I think so. I think he just walked. I believe he walked in garage, went through like the left door split, then worked his way into sight.
Yeah, because he's in sight, and that could have been a big play for Wichita Wolves to, you know, sow confusion into the ranks, having him in sight, but he shoots Penguin, doesn't get the kill, that relays information to the rest of his team, and I believe the rest of the team was pushing dorms.
Yeah,
and they just start pouncing.
Well, Wichita Wolves, Abernai might have gone in a little bit too early, or maybe he just saw an opening and said he was taking it, so Wichita Wolves were like, okay. They're just trying to catch up. You saw Forrest enter split, but at that point, Abernai was already in the site and taking engagements with people inside the site. And so Forrest gets in, Abernai's been there for like 18 years, and so Forrest's like, crap, I guess we're just here now.
Yeah, I would say that it definitely seemed like there was some confusion there from the rest of the Wichita Wolves player weren't even nearby Abernai to, you know, take the initiative or help him out on that play in the first place. So it was kind of crazy that they're all just kind of now having to rush them, and they run into, you know, the other PB players have been notified of his presence. And you can see, you saw from last round, they were all getting picked off left and right.
But now they are swinging to the defense, and Oregon does tend to lean defender-sided, so it's not out of the realm of possibility for them to win. Like, not at all. Even 5-1 halves on Oregon are not the worst thing on the face of the earth.
I'll judge it after the first round, see how I feel.
That is true. Let's give it a second, because of course, if PB win, they're already on match point. This is Wichita Wolves' map pick, and we're all looking a little bit worried for Wichita Wolves in this match so far. But at least starting out here, Wichita Wolves, their first defense, upstairs this time around, not going to basement like PB like to do. But Benny, we've seen so much Finka in this game so far. Like, we saw it a bit during the regular season, but her pick rate has just increased so dramatically.
I just having grenades, man. Grenades are required.
You know what? That would do it, wouldn't it?
Grenades are literally required for every single take to destroy shields, to destroy banshees, to destroy people. So it makes sense to see them picked, and the fact that now Finka can heal you permanently rather than just being, you know, a temporary boost, also big too. So I can see why. And then once they finally do add the fact that if, you know, Finka could pick herself up, would probably be big too. First canister comes out from the side of Wichita Wolves, push the spirits back a bit. But so far in this top floor defense, what is PB's intent? And Wichita Wolves aren't really doing anything crazy, though. It seems to be the standard setup for that top floor site.
Also, it appears that PB are setting up that big window take. Ooh, a Valkyrie spotted, but Cooley doesn't even have to shoot that. C4 just goes short. Wasted by Frofo. Forced on the Abonai. Or not on the Abonai, on the Valkyrie. I was thinking about Abonai as well. That was a weird mix-up that my brain just had. But also, if you want to notice, Benny, minute left, PB have 2 drones. One of them active at the moment. That is not exactly the best, especially when you're going for a big window take, which more often than not relies on getting those entries in, as opposed to, like, say, an attic and generator or bedroom take. You can hold those angles and minimize them, but without these drones, Melta's just got to take in, try to win his fight with Abonai, which does work, but he jumps into a frost mat. Intel would have been useful there, and 2 other members of Parabellum all fall on the entry. Eska and Penguin, the only one left, but oh no, Eska, his crosshair moves over for his head at the exact wrong moment. Penguin's alone by himself right now. They're pushing from opposite sides. He's cut down by Freak, and Callout cuts down Eska soon after. Wichita Wolves win that first round, and again, Benny, can't help but think, maybe if they had like a couple more drones, maybe that goes a little bit smoother.
Yeah, I was like, we were talking and we didn't really notice it because we were talking about, previous things. But yeah, they didn't have any drones. There wasn't any time left either. So it seems like Wichita Wolves played the intel game. They didn't really need to have a crazy roam if you cut off all the intel that Parabellum has. And you could tell from the way that Parabellum was playing, they were stalling because they didn't know what was happening. They didn't know where everybody was because they didn't have the intel necessary to say, hey, we can know this is their weakness, what's going on here. Let's go for that play. No intel whatsoever. They even opened attic wall even. I don't know. They didn't open anything actually.
Not really, no. Did not open much.
So again, yeah, it didn't seem like they had, any intel to their game. And hey, that's a good starting round for Wichita Wolves though to bring them back. They need 3 more rounds to tie it up.
Indeed. We also saw, I like how you and I both hyped up the Ying like, oh, Ying could be the deciding factor. Oh my god. What's actually more different is like Ying almost seems like it almost just seems like a nuclear bomb. It's like, how people always talk about nuclear proliferation. It's like, we have, the fact that just the option itself is threatening enough. That's like the Ying in this game so far. It's just like, the presence of it, spirits will bring it out. Like, hey, we have this Ying. Then which was like, crap, do we want to counter into it? Do we want to read into it? And they 6-pick to a smoke, maybe to just stay on the site a little bit more, have that person who's going to be on the site, that bedrock, that they can focus on to make sure that the Ying can't play. And Spirit's like, no, I'm going to think instead. It's very interesting how that works. Sometimes we hype up that bit of analysis that we're like, oh my god, it's going to be this game-changing factor. But instead, it's just game-changing in its lack of presence, because it's always a threat.
Yeah, I guess teams don't bring the Ying as much because they expect teams to know how to, combat it, to counter it. But at the same point, we haven't seen a Ying in so long, and I don't know if Wichita Wolves or these defending teams even bring that counter because they don't expect teams to bring it even, maybe. I don't know. But we'll start us here. We're going for that downstairs play from Wichita Wolves. They're in the basement. We're going to see PB clear the top floor, clear the first floor, and nobody from Wichita Wolves is roaming, though, compared to PB's defenses. Though there is people off free, there's a freezer tech, there's that freezer extension, and people inside of, Big Tower, Harry Potter, barrels, as you expect from these teams.
And PB so far starting out on the laundry side of things as well, the laundry and the freezer side of things, as they tend to prefer both in their defenses to start out and in their attacks to start out well. Not an uncommon position for PB whatsoever. Also, Penguin, I've also noticed, probably because of he liked to play it a little bit before, but likely because of the hard reach charges, has also started to pick up the 0 a lot more often. You get those cameras, those hard reach charges as well. It's just something that he as a player has sort of leaned into a little bit with the addition of that second hard reach charge as well. And the benefit of this is you can do exactly that. Fortunately, it shot, so 0 cam does not have really any effect on gaining intel on that big tower take. But what will have an effect are those X-Kairos charges, which will make whoever's playing in that position a little bit difficult. But again, if you haven't adequately cleared out inside, a lot of those X-Kairos are going to get shot. There's still one hole opened up, so they have a useful angle to try and aid things out, but it's a lot less useful now that Penguin has fallen.
Yeah, that's unfortunate to see. Freak will peek out and get that kill, and I don't know where that was. It might be from below, from that hatch, because he was on that E-box hatch. But so far, it looks to be a baby elbow pillar take. There are some players by Freezer Eska maybe waiting for a chance for a Q to go for a flank they wouldn't expect from the side of Wichita Wolves, because they're all focused on this back tower side. And there's Eska to take a force. He's pushing farther into Freezer, can't get the kill. Mohes is ready from Laundry to help out and kill Eska. So now at that point, Parabellums, what is their play now? They still haven't pushed in elbow. They're having trouble with these, Rooney gates, these laser gates, and with the player inside of barrels. It is the Womai with those discs to stop any grenades. Spirits drops through, and Kool-Aid elsewhere gets killed. Freak, and Spirits is coming through, gets one kill, and the player elbow too as well. Yes, he can.
What?
Melton and Spirits finish off the round. And Parabellum will take their first attacking round on this half.
Let's just all level with each other for at least 5 to 10 seconds. I mean, PB probably should not have won that round. Like, let's get that out of the way with right now. Problem there, while it is, again, there is an asterisk, is Oregon defense. Even though it's 6-2, Wichita Wolves could still very well mount this comeback, and it wouldn't be all too surprising. Problem here is just, again, it's match point. And now, Benny, we have it. Spirits has stuck the Ying on the final round. Is this the deciding factor that ekes them over the top, or did Wichita Wolves in their timeout said, hey, anticipate a Ying from PB?
Well, you said that, they would have brought Warden then.
I mean, yes, potentially, but like there are more strategies you could do in theory. It's not like there is only one counter in existence, and it is Warden.
Well, let's do help too, I guess.
Exactly. See, that's two.
But we're on to this meeting kitchen defense once again, like we've seen before, but this time PB on the attack. Wichita Wolves on the defense. Their first time defending this site, and of course they're doing for kind of the same old you expect. Just reinforcing those walls upstairs, reinforcing the walls downstairs, having a roam on that top floor, and trying to hold that for as long as possible. And use the hatches to their use if it comes to that point. If Parabellum doesn't clear them from that top floor, and if Parabellum does clear them, they're going to try and waste time, make sure they can get kills at least, or try maybe at least get kills, at least waste time, try to make it worthwhile for the anchors on site to then close out the round. But so far, it looks like PB are droning out that big tower side, because interesting, PB on their defense, they actually held big tower quite a lot when it comes to this defense, and Wichita Wolves this time are just ignoring entirely.
And that's the nice thing, because as we mentioned earlier when PB were defending meeting, what you really have to do is, of course, in terms of hard breach, you just have to open up that top wall, open up that meeting wall, both to the point where you can, at least on the top floor, you can just look and make sure nobody's pushing attic, and on the bottom floor, you can actually walk in through that stage wall. That's what they're doing right now, what those 6x Kairos was for. It's not to push in attic or full clear out the roam. It's just to get an angle to deny anybody playing aggressive or flanking up that way. It's also what Spirits is doing right now in case anybody tries to get aggressive in Green Hall. Hell of an angle right there, by the way, I will say.
Yeah.
Very appealing to look at.
Upside down and repel, just waiting for Call to swing. But that's true too, yeah, because you see, they open up, you hear the Skyros go off on that attic wall, so they can now at least watch. And they actually push it though. Grenades are coming out to at least kill the person, or maybe try to push them out of pit. The shield goes down. They now make sure they can't. That we can play that for the moment. Looks like they're gonna flash through. Spirits is waiting for the Q, jump right in, but this stops him.
That's again maybe some poor util clear on the side of Parabellum. Now they've lost Eska as well. Okay, it's getting a little bit worrying, and well, that's the counter, Benny. Is that if you Candela into a space and just nobody's peeking or looking at it, they're playing reserved. Nobody's gonna get flashed. And right now, Spirits only has one more Candela to make this entry into site work, and if it goes wide, their ace in the hole, their wild card, will be minimized, and they just have to take the gunfights without any assistance in that regard. Callout has used all of his smoke canisters, but Wichita Wolves are winning in the man count. 4 swings, but so does Callout, oddly enough. And Kool-Aid manages to take him down. Spirits finally entries, final Candela used. He's just inside a kitchen. Ooh. He swings, immediately smokes Forest on the angle. Abonai above, it's cut down by Melted too. The only person left is Mohes with the Echo. Do they know? But there's plenty of time right now. Even if he stunned him, Kool-Aid could still get the bomb on the floor. He shoots the Yokai, and Mohes stuck inside of Attic. Has to somehow transfer down and clutch this 1v3. Spirits is on low HP. Melted, a bit reduced as well, but look at where he has to go. In terms of land, everyone on PB has retreated as far back as they can feasibly can, and set up themselves in positions to get a crossfire, no matter what entry point Mohes uses. Pulls out the bearings, spots Spirits, the lowest HP, could land the pre-fire, but it's Spirits' his LMG pre-fire instead that he peeks directly into. A 7-2 victory on your opponent's map pick. I don't think PB could have wished for a better start.
No, that was quite the Oregon from Parabellum. They knew what they were doing. They read into what Wichita Wolves have done in the past, because Wichita Wolves during the regular season have played Oregon quite a bit. They've shown a lot of their strats, and you can tell PB have done their homework. They figured out what to do here, how to counter them again and again. Even mid-round, when you saw Mohes on that balcony, they figured things out